If, if this is your first session joining us, welcome. We appreciate you jumping in and being here with us. If you are a student with an earlier start date, welcome back. Thank you for returning. It is appreciated. We'll get started formally in just a moment here. I just wanted to do a few housekeeping things as I continue to let folks into the meeting. Our plan for today is it's a practice day. We are going to be doing the Ashtanga. We'll work through the half primary today. We should be able to get all the way through it. We will see. My intent is to treat it like it's a workshop, and we will stop and start practice as we go along to talk through varying postures. If you happen to be traveling um, while we're doing the course, feel free to listen in because it is important for you to hear me call class, as that is primarily how Ashtanga is taught. To give you some context for what I mean by that is I typically, in a typical Mysore structured class, for those of you who may not know, the teacher calls your asana practice without actually doing the postures. So when you're learning to teach this particular thing, your verbiage and your counts and things, they matter, all right? Because it's the primary driver of this particular class. However, for today's experience of it, I am going to do it with you, since I know not everyone is familiar with the sequence, and it's a little bit harder when you're online when you don't know what's next. Typically, when I teach the half primary, I get it done in about an hour, yeah, an hour and 15 minutes or so. It may take a little longer because I do have intentions on starting and stopping as we move through the postures. Any questions so far? Yes.
I'm thinking about the time. Do you do the closing sequence every time you teach Ashtanga, their closing sequence, the traditional?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So let me give a little more context because that is an excellent question. Um, Even when you're practicing with your daily practice, so a typical Ashtanga setup is you practice 6 days a week and you take one rest day. That rest day can vary throughout the week as to whatever day works for you. The way that I practice now is my rest day is usually Saturday. And by rest day, I mean I'm just not doing Ashtanga. On Saturdays, I usually take pole class instead. So that's how I have it set up so I can cross train for myself is what I'm trying to say here. So in the Ashtanga series, when you choose your 6 days of practice, when you come to the mat, no matter what your time limit is, you always want to do the closing series. So closing is going to be your back bends and then your invert your floor series all the way through to Shavasana. So we'll do that as well. Now, let me talk out the complete other side of my mouth and give you a different set of advice than what I just said. Even if you are working through your Ashtanga practice, let's say you don't necessarily have time to do all of the closing series, or for some reason the body is just not up for the inversion portion of the closing series. What I tell everyone is to at least do the back bends and do Shavasana. The back bends are going to be important for the longevity of your practice. More than anything, the two best things that you can do for your body on a regular basis is drink water and do back bends. So my suggestion to you is that even if you don't necessarily have enough time to do all of the closing, which you'll get to see today, I suggest doing the back bends. Now, yes, I use the word back bends or Urdhva Dhanurasana, which is full wheel. However, there's a caveat to that. You can do bridge as well to accomplish the same thing. Wheel may not necessarily be a part of your practice, and that's perfect, wonderful. So give your body the opportunity to get that openness on the front side of the body by doing bridge. And bridge itself can have levels, right? It can be we're flat on the floor and we do a pelvic tilt. That counts as a bridge. where we don't lift the hips up off the floor. It can be a pelvic tilt to where we drive the feet in the floor and then the hips raise. That counts as our bridge and our arms are still down. It can take a step further where maybe the hands are back behind us and we're engaging the arms to see if we can get a little taste of doing full wheel. And then, of course, we push off the floor and progress to full wheel. So there are levels to it. My encouragement for today's practice is do the level that your body has access to for today. I will also tell you. I will also tell you that I have I have a few postures within the sequence that are there are rather a few postures within the sequence that are binds, and I for Marichasana in particular, you heard me call that particular name. I have a love-hate relationship with that particular posture. Sometime the bind, I can catch it, sometimes I can't. So if it happens, if you see it today, we're all going to cheer and be like, hell yeah, she's in it today. If you don't see it happen, we're still going to cheer because she's in it today. It's the same thing. Some days it works and some days it doesn't. So I want to warn you, if you happen to see me not do it, it's just not the day. It's not the day for it. Any other postures that we happen to go over, if I do something and you're like, one, what is going on? Two, there ain't no way. Give yourself the grace to know that there's an opportunity for you to grow into that posture. That's all it is. It's just your body saying, oh, we don't know what to do about this. We're not sure what to do about this. So we're going to give our bodies the grace and opportunity to grow into a posture. And the other thing I'd like to go over with you and just kind of let everybody off the hook. I'm sorry, I'm letting people in and make sure everyone's at the meeting simultaneously, just to be aware as to why I'm looking at my phone too as I'm talking. The other thing I want to let you all know is that Ashtanga is not necessarily easy. So to give you context from my own practice, Ashtanga is my kind of regular jam, right? I go to hot yoga when I need a break from Ashtanga. Okay. So I go stick myself in a 106-degree room when I need a break from this practice because the postures that are in hot are more accessible, if you will, in some case, than Ashtanga can be in the beginning. Now, the accessibility is directly relative to your ability to quiet down your inner critic and just try the thing and see what's possible, right? Because the way it looks on my body and the way it looks on your neighbor's body is going to be drastically different. Okay. I will also tell you that just because a posture isn't in your wheelhouse does not mean that Ashtanga is not for you. It's once again an opportunity to see what's possible. All right. So as we practice, as soon as you hear the inner critic, because there is going to be something that happens on the mat where she gets real noisy real fast. Okay. Tell her to tamp down, and this is your mantra, your reminder as we move through this is let's see what's possible. Can we make that agreement that that'll be our chant when stuff seems like it's hard? Let's see what's possible. That's the mental reminder, and this is your mental pep talk before we step on the mat. Okay. Any other questions? No. Okay. Other warnings. We're gonna do chaturanga a lot. It's gonna be a lot. I will give you the option to not. I always do, as this is your practice as well. However, I encourage you to give it a go as much as your body will allow today. Yes, go ahead, Catherine.
Uh, I do have a question about the way you teach. Ashtanga is like my favorite, so I'm
Mhm.
really excited. But you know how they have in those bound postures the A, B, and C? I was curious if you do those every time, and if you do jump backs and jump throughs every time when you teach. I know in my field it's
So
pretty strict, but I didn't know how you approach it.
I call them, but I always give the option to walk, hop, or tiptoe to the top of your mat. I always, in the, how old am I? 40, how old am I? 43. 6 years, I had to get my numbers together. In the 6 years that I've been teaching, I've always given that direction. And the reason I give it, and yes, and to respond to what you said, Ashtanga can be very strict depending on the teacher. I do not operate that way. And this is like my personal kind of brand of teaching Ashtanga. And it was also part of the way that it was taught for me. I have a teacher that is really, really big on let's see what's possible. So I deliver that to you. The big reason now that I teach that way is if we're going to have a conversation around what's accessible for bodies, for real bodies that walk through the door, we have to let go of some of that tightness because we inadvertently end up discouraging people from the practice when we're not willing to give them the grace to see what their body can do. So I always give the option. The only thing that I am a bit of stickler about is chaturanga and your setup and making sure one, it's safe, and two, that you are doing the work that's intended for the particular posture. So for instance, and my OGs know that this is my thing. If you have elbows out here for chaturanga, we're gonna fix that. We're definitely going to fix that because not only is it it takes a whole host of strength to have your hands away from your body, so you're making it harder for you structurally for the longevity of your practice. If we can structurally stack you to where you can use the strength of your upper body to press the floor away, now we're putting ourselves in a better position for when we do this 10, 5, 10, 15, up to 60 times in a practice. If you do the full primary, we can maintain that as opposed to being out here and now our arms are just exhausted and we don't have the ability to push the floor away anymore. So does that answer your question, Catherine? Does that answer your question? Okay,
Yeah.
cool. I like to give modifications if someone needs it. I also give them because my body, some days it's interested and some days it's not. What is the other thing? I will also give the caveat that I have taken 3 hours of pole class already this morning. So you may see me chaturanga a little less than I typically would because my upper body is tired. So any other questions, comments, or concerns? You will, yes, Natasha.
Sorry, hi. Do you normally teach the opening prayer?
Yes, I was just about to say that.
Oh, cool.
You will hear me chant in Sanskrit in the beginning, and it's a call and response. So if you choose to participate, you're welcome, and I will give space for you to respond, and then I'll move on to the next part. I'll also say it's going to sound strange because it's in Sanskrit, it's not in English, and obviously, I would assume the majority of us are not native Sanskrit speakers, right? So give yourself the space to let it feel weird, be weird, sound weird. But when we chant, it's about the vibration that is created within the chant that allows us to kind of get into the groove of the practice. The chant itself is about paying homage to the teachers that came before us. So we're giving reverence to that and reverence to our practice as a whole. This is why we chant. I don't do the closing chant when we're kind of in daily practice. I only do that on the last day of my practice week. So for those of you who are going to begin to join the Mysore class, the regular one that we have in the virtual studio, our last day of practice of the week, I want to say, is currently scheduled as Friday. So we will begin to learn the closing chant together once we kind of get into more of a practice groove. What else is there? I just thought of something to say. Oh, so the other thing that I want to talk about really quick is regarding strength when it comes to doing this. So there's two different sets of strength that we kind of work with. There's relative strength or overall strength. Your overall strength is when you are going to lift something heavy. Do you have the strength and ability to lift that something heavy? So for instance, does everyone know what a deadlift is? In weightlifting, everybody knows what a deadlift is. So it's all the weights, you're bent over and you're picking them all up, okay? That is your overall strength. If this box weighed 60 pounds, do I have the overall body strength to lift this 60-pound box, okay? The other strength that that is important is your relative strength. So relative strength has a direct link to the mass of your body. Okay. If you have a larger body, it takes more force to move that body into the shape that we are trying to create on the mat. Okay. Heavier bodies can struggle with inverts. They can also struggle with different shapes because your brain hasn't figured out how much force I need to make this thing happen and what muscle engagement do I need to leverage to make this thing happen. It's not that you can't do it. It's not that your body is too big to do it. It is just your brain and body's connection working through the coordination of how do I get my muscles, my bones, my ligaments, my tissues moving in this particular direction to do this shape that Ashley is asking me to make. That's all it is, okay? So for those of us who happen to be in larger bodies, I want to knock down the myth now of because I'm heavier, I can't do X, Y, and Z. No, it is teaching your body the amount of force that is necessary in order to make that shape. And then it may also, in addition, it may also have to do with, does my body have the amount of flexibility necessary to make that shape? Does my body have the amount of mobility to make that shape, right? All of those things can be taught. Does that make you feel better about your yoga practice now? To know that it don't have shit to do with the size that you are. It has everything to do with, is my body physically, is my brain body connection, have I grooved in those neural pathways for my brain to be like, this is what I know how to do. I'll give you an example to kind of ground this in physicality. In pole this morning, woman was talking about doing an invert, and she was saying she wasn't tucking her pelvis. She said, I needed to work on it while I'm sitting on the floor. So because I know the ladies in class really well, I turned around and I put my feet up in boat pose and I grabbed my toes and I looked over and the teacher goes, you're a yoga teacher, it doesn't count, and you know how to do this. That's because my physical body has been doing that same thing for 10 years. Now, fast forward to me climbing the pole and then having to do that same thing, my body went, what are we doing? Like it was a whole mental meltdown because the coordination in my muscles, the amount of force that I need to make that thing happen, I just haven't created that brain to body connection and have not created that neural pathway in that groove. So I'm giving you that example and telling you that story to say that all you got to do is make the connections. So again, I'm going to tie it to the thing we talk about all the time. How do I get good at yoga? How do I learn the things? It's practice. This is why getting on your mat is important. It gives your brain and your body the opportunity to get in the groove of learning something new, to get in the groove of growing in your practice. Then it gives you the opportunity to get yoga wins where you step on the mat and all of a sudden you can pick your foot up and hook your big toe without any thought whatsoever. It just happens. That's when your yoga magic happens in your practice. But that magic, that space for that magic to happen came about because you took the time to grow into the posture that you were working on. And then the body and the brain catch up to each other, and all of a sudden, ta-da, now you can do bird of paradise. Okay? I had never heard of relative and overall strength before. Thank you. You're very welcome. You're very welcome. Yeah, you give your body to actually give your body the opportunity to learn and groove in muscle memory. So when I go to yogi squat, it's funny. Sometimes I'll be talking in class and I'm doing a posture and having a full-on conversation. That's because it's in my bones. It's in my muscle memory to do that particular posture, where now I don't need to take the conscious portions of my brain and attach it to what I'm doing. I can allow my subconscious to do that thing for me, just because of time spent on the mat. But it comes with time spent on the mat, right? All right. The other thing I will tell you, we talked about binds. We talked about Marichasana and the bind. I have that contemptuous relationship with Marichasana because my brain has a groove of this is going to be hard, this is going to hurt. When I can let that noise go, when you can quiet the noise, usually that's when the bind happens. Okay? So whatever your mental chatter is, right now, when it pops up, you're going to listen to it and go, oh, that's what that is. And be curious about it. Don't judge it. Don't judge it. Go, oh, that's what she was talking about. It's so cool. It showed up. And then you'll notice it'll get real quiet real quickly. Okay. Other questions about practice before we step on the mat? No?
I had one question.
Sure.
I guess it's about modifications. I broke my ankle years ago, but I don't really have any issues with the ankle, but I do have some issues with the big toe joint.
Mm-hmm.
Are there any modifications for something like that?
So when you say issues with the big toe joint, is it discomfort? Is it that the body is like, oh, this doesn't feel good because there's scar tissue there? What's the issue, so to speak?
It's actually little to no cartilage.
Okay.
In the
Okay.
joint.
So your bones rubbing. Gotcha.
Right.
I'm trying to think when we'll need it. We don't toe stand.
Okay.
So that's not a part of it. It should not necessarily be a problem. The only thing that I can think is there's always the option when you're in down dog, excuse me, when you're going from up dog to down dog to roll over your toes. And it is not necessary. One. Two, it just looks cooler. That's really the only purpose it serves. So literally pick your feet up and put them back down so you're not putting unnecessary pressure on your toes. That's all. Um, go for function over aesthetic. That's what I would say. So if you feel as though we're moving through a posture that is like, oh, this is not necessary for my body to get into this shape, do the functional thing to get you there, would be my first thought. There is in the Jana Shirsasana series, let's see, a B. So Jana Shirsasana C, thank you, Catherine, because you see me thinking through where it is. C may be problematic because you are on the top of your toes are pushed into to allow for the rotation of your ankle. So what I would like you to do is you'll see it when we get there. Is just stay in the first version of that particular posture.
Okay.
So that way you're not putting unnecessary pressure on your toes.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
You're welcome. And I also will, if I see people struggling or see bodies running into issues when it comes to moving in postures, you'll hear me give suggestions of other things that you can do. So feel free to use whichever I offer. Other questions? Yes. Someone raised their hand.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I was muted. So
Oh,
arthritis in both my knees, so I tend to avoid asanas that put a lot of pressure on my knees, and I'm working on building up the muscle in my thighs and things like that to kind of make sure I get into the posture. So I know. But
I was just about to say, oh friend, that means we are using our knees and we are not using our quads and our glutes. So the only way to it is through it, unfortunately.
got you.
And it's really to retrain those muscles. So I've spent my entire morning this morning having a strongly worded conversation with my glutes and my quads. Literally, my mental talk is, are you working? Are you like you almost have to talk to that part of your body because you've
I have to
grooved.
maintain the quads and the glutes is what you're saying.
Yes, you've grooved in a muscle pattern that is put it in your knees. Your knees only need to do the work. So in order to literally in real time reframe that pattern, talk to that part of your body. If you're a tactile person, take your hands, put it on the side of your hip and go, glutes, are you working? Thighs, are you working?
Nice. Thank you.
Yeah, I know it sounds like a very silly way to go about it, but it does work because all you're trying to do is get your brain to literally connect to make that neurological connection to that part of your body.
Yeah.
So talk to it. And even when you are sitting, talk to it. When you're standing, talk to it. When you're brushing your teeth, same thing. Because think of how long you've probably had this walking pattern, the gait, and I'm sure if I'm guessing, if we have arthritis in the knees, the way that you walk, the way that you stand, the way that you pick things up, all of that is grooved in a certain way where your knees are bearing the brunt of that thing. So this
I
is
can't even
years.
sit on my heels because I'm scared.
Right. So this is years of your body going, oh, this is how we do this. This is how we do this. So now you got to take a little time to help it. It needs to relearn how to structurally walk and move in a way that is conducive to what your body actually needs. And then I just to throw this out here, you and I would be good to do a one-to-one. I would really, really, really love for you to schedule a one-to-one yoga session with me because I have a good 6 weeks worth of uh, exercises that are specifically to help knees and joints, knees specifically,
Okay.
work and to help this particular pattern. Cash, somebody asked me, will I be teaching in English and Sanskrit? Who asked me that?
I did.
Somebody. Oh, okay. It was
Yeah.
you. All right. I thought I was losing my
I
mind.
thought I heard you mention it earlier, but I was trying to get the kids settled, so I don't know if I didn't catch it.
Trust me, I understand, friend. Yes, I will be doing both.
Awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome. Oh, okay. And then I'm glad you mentioned Sanskrit again. And yes, y'all, we will get moving in a moment. Sanskrit takes time to learn. I've been doing this for a while. Please do not be intimidated when I do both. It just takes time. Okay. Other questions before we move? All right, let's get it. I'm going to turn off my camera so I can move my computer and then we will get started.
Just quick question. Is teaching in Sanskrit optional?
When you teach Ashtanga, no, it is not. But, uh, okay, let me back that up. In a traditional Mysuru class, it is not optional. In order to pay homage to the lineage, you want to do it the way that it was delivered to us, right? However, if you're teaching in a studio that allows for a bit of both, then or gives you the leeway to do either or, then okay. But if you're teaching like a regular hatha class, a regular vinyasa class, totally teach in English and Sanskrit together. But if for Ashtanga in particular, you have to be able to count in Sanskrit because you do both as you move through the practice. So you'll hear me do switch back and forth. And it is recorded. So if you want to go back and listen to it so you can learn it, you know, but it does take time. Other questions before I move? Okay. All right. We'll see how far we get through it. Let's get moving together. All right, so I assume everyone can still hear me. So we'll step to the top of our mat and come into Samasthiti. So those are your big toes are together and your heels are out away from one another. Tucking the tailbone under. We'll bring the arms down to the side and think of pressing feet down into the mat, but don't collapse the knees. So don't let the hips flare out. Keep the quads engaged. Press big toes in the mat, tuck the tailbone under, stand tall. And we'll bring our hands to our heart center and start with the opening mantra. So in our Samasthiti, Om Vande Gurunam Charanarvinde Sannadashita Swatma Sukhavabodhe Nishayase Jangali Kayamane Samsala Hala Hala Moham Shante Avahu Prushakaram Shankachakrasi Darinam Sasha Shirtam Shwetam Pranamamim Patanjali Oh. Inhale, arms raised. Way, exhale, forward fold, hinge at hips. Trini, inhale, head up only. Chatvade, take the feet back, lower down, chaturanga. Pancha, inhale, chest lifts for up dog. Chat, exhale, hips lift for down dog. We're gonna breathe here 5 times. Gaze is towards your belly button. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Sapta, jump through or step feet to hands. Inhale, Ashto, exhale, fold. Nava, inhale, come all the way up, arms raised, palms together, down to heart center, Samasthiti. We'll do that same thing again. Ekam, inhale, arms raised. Way, exhale, forward fold, hinge at hips. Trini, inhale, head up only. Chatvade, take the feet back, lower down, chaturanga. Pancha, inhale, chest lifts. Sharp, exhale, hips raised for down dog. 1, we'll breathe here 5 times. 2, 3, 4, 5. Sapta, jump, inhale. Ashto, exhale, fold. Now that inhale brings you all the way up. Samasthiti, hands to the side. All right, let's pause for just a moment. So we've done 2 thus far. We've done 2 sun salutations so far. How are we feeling? All right, so let's talk about a few things. Number 1, we're going to talk about our down dog. Who was suffering? You feel awake? Good, awesome. Who was struggling in down dog, if anyone? Yes? All right, perfect. Yay, this is what I like to hear. Let's talk about it. So, I consider myself the down dog whisperer. Let me tell you why. Because I'm a strong believer, and it is in the fact that it is a posture that you do not have to suffer through. If you are suffering down dog, what that typically tells me is that you're not using your legs. So we're going to refocus our strength, and we're going to use our big muscle groups to help make down dog a little bit easier. So let's talk about it first. Number 1, if we are in down dog and we're not using our legs, we are now dumping all of that energy into our shoulders and into our wrist. How many of you have shoulders that are pissed off when you're trying to do down dog? Yeah? Who has lower back discomfort when you're doing down dog? Anyone? Okay, so if I am in down dog, can you also see me? Yes, you can. Okay, so if I'm in down dog and I do not engage my legs, then my arms and my shoulders and back are taking all of the brunt of this posture. So this is no legs. All my body weight is in my arms. See how I'm wiggling around and holding myself up from here? If I step my feet in, I'm going to engage my quads. So squeeze my quads. My knees lift up, squeeze my quads. Now I'm going to take, instead of letting my belly sink down toward my knees and my toes, I'm going to engage and tilt my pelvis back and press the weight into my legs. If I keep all of that on, now I can actually lift my hands off the floor because all my body weight is not dependent on my arms. Okay, so let's do this together. It doesn't matter if your feet don't plant, they'll get there. We're gonna fix it. Whether your feet touch are irrelevant. If we fix these other things, this will give an opportunity for your feet to move further towards the ground. All right, so let's talk it through. If everyone can come to down dog. D, step your feet in a little closer to one another. So not that close. Step it to the same width that there you go, right there. Joy, can you turn sideways so I can see side profile? Thank you. Okay, yeah, if everybody gives me side profile, then I can see what's going on. Okay, so Joy, right now you have your knees bent. What I want you to do is think of squeezing your thighs and feel the feeling that you're looking for is your kneecaps lifting up when you squeeze your thighs. From there, engage your lower abdominals.
I have sciatica.
Okay. We're gonna
and I'm good. I don't dump. I'm pushing back and away. Forearms engaged, quads, hamstrings, but my floor is cold and my sciatica is having a louder conversation.
Okay. So bend the knees more than you were then, and see if you can think of less lower back, more lower abdominal engagement. So think engagement, but not abdominal squeeze, if that makes sense. So let's we'll say tuck pelvis. That may be a better cue for you. Okay, cool. Looks good. Nicole, your turn. Let's see. I would like for you to squeeze your inner thighs together. Yep. Tuck your pelvis, engage just a little bit more. Now press your weight towards your heels. Ooh, look, we found the floor, friend. All right, pop up and come talk to me for a second. Did that feel different?
It did. I have a lot of issues with my arms, my wrists and elbows. So that's always like they are shaken. But it did take a little bit of that out.
Okay.
But it's still
So
one of the
let's talk
hardest
arms
things.
too. If our arms are out here, this is really hard on our shoulders and wrist because our Jenga puzzle, right? We're not stacked. This is not stacked. This is relying on all this to hold up the body. If we set our hands like we're opening a jar of pickles, now, so think hands forward. So if fingers are out here, we're not stacked. So forward. Okay, toes and fingers need to go in the same forward direction towards the top of your mat. So your challenge is to, every time you get ready to do down dog, is making sure that that pelvis is engaged, not squeezed. We're not squeezing the abs. We're just engaging them so we can use them. And then actually we are squeezing the quads. We're thinking of squeezing everything towards the center line. Like if we had a block in between our thighs, that's what we're trying to hold on to. We don't want to drop our block. Okay?
Okay. Thanks.
Cool. You're welcome. Natasha, your turn. So step your feet back toward your curtain. Yep. And step your feet out wider. Give yourself a wider base. Yeah. Now from here, think engaging your quads. So squeezing your quads together so your knees lift. Right. Walk your hands a little farther forward. Oh, look at that space, friend. There you go. Engage your abdominals. Now, see if you feel that pressure off your shoulders. See if those heels will ease more to, oh, look at that. All of this space happens in the front of the body because now we're using our legs to help. Okay, let's have a seat and let's chat about it.
Yeah, I'm definitely guilty of not giving myself enough space.
Okay, how did your shoulders feel?
So much lighter.
Yeah. So if we engage our legs, we inadvertently take some of the brunt of the posture off your shoulders. It's just gonna happen. Everyone pop in the down dog. Let me check everybody else's real quick. I'll do it all at once. Okay, so for all parties involved, let's look at our fingers and make sure they are going forward towards the top of our mat. Let's make sure our toes are pointed forwards towards the top of our mat. Everyone engage your lower abdominals. So think drawing belly button up towards your chin. Yeah. Now, lock those elbows in. Elbows and knees should be facing one another. Cool. And then relax your chin in towards your chest and draw your shoulder blades long down the back. Cool. Everybody looks good. Okay, pop up and talk to me. Whomever is off mute first can go first. Side note, I love how everyone's cat is like, clearly you want to talk to me while you're doing this.
My cat will not leave us alone.
Yeah, I just No, like I've seen a few where they're like, "Oh, you're here for me, aren't you?" Okay. Anyway, go ahead. Let me hear your feedback.
I was going to say it feels so much better than what I've been experiencing. Those fixes are really great. And I too have like osteoarthritis, no cartilage in my knees. Like I have knee issues. All of my issues are lower body. So I was kind of concerned, like, am I going to be able to do this? But I was up for the challenge because I don't like to limit myself. So this feels great.
Good. Who else would like to share?
I want to echo what she just said. I have never walked through with an instructor, although I am a trained instructor, how to do that so I can move the weight downward. It was excellent. Thank you.
You're welcome. Jessica said if she feels less pressure and more powerful in the legs. Wonderful. Elizabeth, did you have your hand raised? Yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say that the cue that your elbows should be pointing to your kneecaps was really helpful because I really struggle with the like rotating of the arms. I want to just constantly do this. So that really helped solidify that.
Good. Courtney.
Hi. So I'm still finding I'm putting a lot of pressure like here on my hands. Like I can lift my fingers and stuff, but
push through your fingertips. So think of sometimes a way to think of it is if I had to pull the top of my mat back, if I had to pull the top of my mat towards the back of my mat. So literally, and it'll take that pressure off your wrist because now your fingers are helping you as well. Okay?
Like kind of like this, sort of?
Like almost claw.
Yeah. Okay.
And it's not a hard pull. It's an engaged portion of my fingers doing a bit of work.
Okay.
And it'll lighten or load in the wrist. The other thing too, wrist joints, ankle joints, some of this is practice. They're smaller and they're building strength too. And we're asking them to hold up our body. So it's gonna take time to do that as well. But I like to engage my fingers just a bit and all of a sudden it'll lighten the load in the wrist, especially when I'm trying to get back into the groove of practice.
Okay, cool. Because like my wrists are made of metal now, so like having used to having bone and now I have metal, it's like a whole got to get used to a whole new body now.
Yeah.
So
and getting your body to talk to that part that is foreign for it as well, that's going to take some time too. I would just give yourself as much humanly grace as physically possible as you get into it. And you can also build up to it. Your down dog for your everyday practice, it might be table. It might be table.
Okay.
And you're like, okay, I feel good here. I've gotten this kind of brain to body connection. Then maybe we'll do this. And then maybe we do this. And then maybe we're back here. So give yourself the opportunity to grow into what it is that you need.
Okay,
cool. Natasha said lower abdominal engagement created more ease and support in the posture for me. It felt lighter. So that's what we're going for. Now I want to clarify a cue that I gave. You notice I didn't say squeeze your abdominals because we're not squeezing them, because usually when we squeeze our abdominals, we squeeze our glutes as well. And if our glutes aren't necessarily firing properly, the body will say, oh, you need me to do this thing? Even though I can't do it properly, I'm going to use the lower back instead. And we get this crunchy kind of lower back feeling. Whereas if we engage our abdominals, if we increase the stability in our center mass, now this gives us an opportunity to pull some of the weight off the shoulders again and stabilize the entire posture without including a muscle group that we don't necessarily want to do that work. Your lower back is not meant to do the work of your abdominal squeeze. Your abdominals should be doing that work, okay? So it's that small contraction of the abdominals. Instead of tilting, instead of twerking, right? We're engaging the lower abdominals to draw the belly button back and then up towards your chin. Does that make sense to everyone? Okay. Other questions regarding down dog? I don't know why I thought that we would get far in this today. But anyway, here we are. Okay, so now let's talk up dog. How many have crunchy shoulders in up dog? When we're Adho Mukha or Urdhva Mukha, do your shoulders feel like they're up here at your ears, or does it feel like it's cranking on your lower back or hard on your lower back for that posture? Okay, all right, so what's happening typically when we are in this posture, I'm going to do it the not so hot way and then I will course correct. So if I'm in this posture and I have my shoulders up by my ears, this is a lot of pressure on my shoulders and this is really, really uncomfortable. What I need to do is lift my chest, and now my shoulders are rotated. Instead of being here closed, they're rotated back behind me and they're open. And then I need to lift my sternum. And I also need to make sure that my bum, that my asana is not squeezed. Squeezed puts pressure on my lower back. I want it to be engaged. So I'm pressing the tops of my feet into the floor to create that engagement. If I squeeze, that makes my back hurt, because that squeeze is, my body has this pattern where it thinks that I'm asking my lower back to do that work and I'm not. Okay, so engaged is that tilting my pelvis and pressing it down towards the floor. Squeeze is dumping it into your lower back. All right, everybody try. Let me see what it looks like. So let the tops of the feet come down. Yeah, so this is our cobra. Now we're all together. So Lila, draw your shoulders right now are curled towards your ears. Is that Leah or Lila? I cannot see. This is what happens when screens are small. So if your shoulders are rolled toward your ears, think roll them back toward your toes. Yeah, so open shoulders, long neck, rolled back towards toes, sternum lifts towards ceiling. Gorgeous, 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 gorgeous. Yes, 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 friends. Wonderful. Now, press the tops of the feet into the floor and see if you can lift your thighs. Legs have to be zipped up together, D, in order for that to happen. Oh, look at y'all, fancy Nancy's. I love it. If you press the tops of the feet in your floor into your floor, it allows your thighs to come up. Now draw those shoulders back, and there is your Urdhva Mukha. All right, come now. Come talk to me. How does it feel? Yes, go ahead.
Can I go? Are we just coming off? I think my problem is I still struggle with chaturanga, so I've never really been able to focus into that pose because it normally comes after. So I'm still just kind of struggling through it. So thank you for having me.
Okay, so let's start from chaturanga then.
Yes, please. Oh, y'all don't laugh at me. This one's horrible.
Oh no, baby. Look, a decade into doing this, I promise you I've seen it all. Okay. And I've probably done at least 90% of it myself. So let's chaturanga together. Let's start with our setup. Everybody come down to your belly. We're going to start there. All right. Untuck your toes for now, since we're going, tuck your toes for now since we're going to chaturanga. All right, so your toes are tucked, and when I say tucked, I mean they're here, right? Look at your hand placement. Are your hands under your shoulders? There you go. That's where they need to be, okay? Hands under the shoulders. Now, we're going to keep the knees down. From here, you're not going to think, draw the body forward. We don't want that, because we want chaturanga to happen first. You're going to think, I press my toes, I squeeze my quads together, I engage my abdominals, and I'm here. This is my start. I keep that same squeeze, and I lower for chaturanga. Okay. All right, give it a shot. Let me see you. Okay, so you're lifting your chest first. Start with center mass first. Push the floor away hard, push your toes. Think my bum needs to lift first. Keep pushing.
Go.
All right, start in that high plank and slowly lower to the ground. Keep elbows squeezed in. Okay, that's the rub. All right, everybody stop for a second. So when we do this, your elbows cannot be out here because it's an unwinnable task. Elbows have to stay pushed into your sides. So come up onto your knees. So push up like the top of your push up. Draw the body forward like you're going to do chaturanga. Now, keep your elbows in. Slow lower. Don't let, nope. Your bum can't drop before your chest does. That's it. But don't give up on it at the bottom. Okay? That's the movement. Just don't bail because we have a muscle memory of, oh my God, this is hard. I got to get out. I got to go. And you just let it go at the bottom. Slow lower, stop when you need to, push back up. Slow lower, stop when you need to, push back up. Then slow lower all the way down. Okay, let's do that together. We're going to do that really quick and then we will up dog. So everybody start at the top of your chaturanga, like you just step back or hop back for plank. And you're going to lower down to the point that works for you. Okay, here we go. Lower down, elbows in, squeeze them into the sides. All right, press back up, push the floor away. Use your abdominals to stabilize your body. Engage your lower abdominals. Slow lower. Don't let your bum come down. Okay. One more, last one. I don't want to burn out your arms any more than I already have. Slow lower, elbows in, let those elbows bend back. Bend those elbows first, slight bend in those elbows. Micro bend. There you go. There you go. That's it. That is your chaturanga. It sucks, friends. I just also want to say that. It is hard. It is not an easy thing to do. Then eventually you get to a place where you come from, let's see. So we would have forward folded, hands on the floor. That looks all great. We step back, and usually I adjust to make sure my plank looks good. And then I lower down and I stop. And then we can pull through and draw those shoulders back, and it leads to your up dog. So let's lead to up dog now. I have a hand raised. Yes, to my hand raised. Go ahead.
I was wondering, it feels like it's engaging your muscles as if you were trying to hold in having to pee, like almost more in that area in terms of engagement.
The lower abdominals need to do that work.
Okay.
Okay, so your pelvic floor is working, right? Your lower abdominals are working to stabilize your center of gravity. If we can't stabilize our center of gravity, that's what makes us fall. That's what makes the body really heavy. So as we get closer to the floor, gravity starts yelling at us going, oh, clearly you want to go down. Clearly this is where you want to be, right? So in that, we have to make sure that we keep our muscle engagement and we're not relying on the floor to catch us, if that makes sense. Okay. And now, the only thing I will say is if you're thinking of the I gotta go squeeze and you're trying to hold on to it, don't think pressure squeeze, think engagement squeeze. Because pressure squeeze creates that overcompensation, which then we're back to where it can dump energy into our lower back. Okay, so let's all get back in our chaturanga position. And we're gonna do our 3, 2, 1 lower down. And then we will do our cobra, and then we will progress to up dog. So hands are under shoulders. Elbows are into our sides. Micro bend in the elbows, lower down for your chaturanga. 3, 2, 1, hold on. Now let it go. There you go. So much better, friend. Press up to cobra. So lift, draw those shoulders back, lift all the way to up dog. Press the tops of the feet in the floor and find your lift. And then think extending your sternum toward the ceiling. Yeah, think lift up, not back. There you go. Okay, everybody come down. Come talk to me. Tell me how it feels. Dee, did you have a question? No? Okay. I was just making sure. All right, who wants to go? How do we feel about up dog now that we've done it for chaturanga and we fixed our chaturanga?
I know for me, it's a whole lot less pain, and the firing is not there. I mean, it's there a little, but not the way it was in the beginning.
Okay.
To make those adjustments.
Okay, wonderful. More ease, I hear, and grace. Yeah, to think of the body as a really complicated Jenga puzzle, okay? And we've all played Jenga where you pull the blocks out and the tower falls over if it's not stacked properly. So think of your body in those terms. If it's not stacked properly, it's going to hurt, okay? Because small joints, elbows, wrist, knees, even ankles, they're not meant to bear the brunt of your body weight. Big muscle groups are, right? Your lats are meant to do big body work. Your glutes are meant to do big body work. Your quads, that's where the strength lies in the body. Your pelvic girdle, it's meant as a whole functioning unit. It's meant to bear the brunt of your body weight. So in terms of when those things aren't firing correctly, this is how we end up with joints that ache, because they're being asked to do work that they're not meant to do. That's where they end up worn out. Okay? So we made it through Sun Cell A. We did that work. First time I've ever gotten my thighs off the ground and up. Yeah, friend, I love that for you. It's wild what happens when we stack the puzzle properly. Feeling greater alignment in my upper body, shoulders and back, heart forward, relieve the pressure from my lower back. Yes, ma'am. Lifting your sternum. So the one cue that is just kind of fused to my brain is tall spine. Okay, tall spine. If I have tall spine, if I can extend my spine away, if I'm extended, now I'm not crunched and I'm not putting additional pressure on parts that hurt. Does that make sense to everyone? So no matter what direction I'm going, tall spine. Even if I'm in a forward fold, tall spine. Okay? Yeah, say it with your chest. Lift it. If I'm crunched here, even energetically, that doesn't feel good to be closed in and have everything, smushed in this direction. Okay? All right. I feel like I've worn y'all out, and all we've done is Sun Cell A. That's all right. That's all right. What I would like for everyone to do is for this week, if you can, let me know what day you're available to do Mysore, and I will move that class so we can move through the rest of this practice together. My shoulders came and cooked. Girl, mine too. Mine are cooked. I climbed a whole bunch this morning and was learning a new trick. So yeah, man, I'm struggling with you. But back to what I was saying. If you all could send me a text and let me know what day you're available to get practice in, I'll move the schedule around to accommodate as many of you as possible so we can do more of this break it down practice together. because it's really, really important. And as teachers, I know sometimes we kind of we'll muscle through things if we have to teach a class to kind of make it work for everybody else, but we have not taken the time to dive into the body mechanics. But I really, really want us to take the time to do it, because if we're suffering through it, how do you think our students feel? You know, people come to classes and they end up just going, well, oh, maybe yoga's not for me. Oh, maybe that class isn't for me, just because it's hard and it hurts. And who wants to consistently show up to something that is hard and hurts? Not me. You know, that is not what I'm overall interested in doing. And I assume the rest of you feel the same way. Do we have required reading? If you have gotten your Ashtanga yoga book, the first one, primary series one, I believe she's in red on the cover. Begin to read that book. This recording will be available on Monday, so you can go back and look at it. For those of you who, everybody has my phone number, right? Already? I know I've given it to you a couple times. Nope, I'll do it right now. It is 727-773 7613. And I just put it in the chat. Text me with what day works for you, and I will adjust my schedule on my side. The only days I cannot do is Friday, Saturday, and Sunday this week. Everything else I'm available, and it can be in the evening, since I assume everybody has your primary job is not necessarily yoga. All right, questions before we close? I know someone wanted to stay on longer with me. That's fine. I will stay on. Questions, and because you had questions. Questions before we close regarding today's practice. Overall, did it feel better? Yes? Okay. So I want to reiterate, you do not have to suffer through your yoga practice. My mission is to make things as accessible as possible, and aid you in a way that allows you to help the students that you will be teaching to as well. Okie dokie? Okay. All right, so we're done for the day, since I've burnt out your shoulders, like a good teacher does, right? I appreciate all of you for rocking with me. I did not, I missed in the chat whom asked me to stay on, but I'll be on for just a moment for you to ask your question. Everyone else, I bid you adieu. And I look forward to hearing from you via text, so we know what day to jump on the mat together. All right, I'll see you soon.
I do have a question for you, Ashley. Because I was in the class, I think last year. Does my dash